Welcome back, everyone, to the W Sports Podcast. Jimothy and Tubby, we are back at it again this week for some fantasy football advice. Maybe you have those guys on the roster with all those injuries and you're not sure. I picked this guy up as even worth starting. Don't worry, Tubby's got you. We're going to be here to help give you some sleepers, some busts that you may want to take a look at before the weekend hits. And then don't worry, MLB playoffs are just around the corner. So that's what this episode is about, is to talk about some of those things. So, Tubby, welcome back to the show.
Hopefully we help you out a little bit better than we did last week.
I was really wrong about Michael Pittman. That's the one I was thinking about the whole weekend. Was Michael Pittman was a brutal pick. So
yeah, there. I can't remember. There was one where I said, "Oh, don't start the guy," and he ended up playing pretty good.
yeah, it was good. Yeah. So you know what? Here we are. This is where we're at. So we're moving past. For the record, last week I went 2-1 in my fantasy leagues, so I feel pretty good about that.
Same here, 2-1.
Yeah. And the one I lost is Jordan Love's fault. So. We're going to move on. So, Tavi, let's go ahead and start. It's a quarterback-driven league, even though the quarterbacks are terrible. But give me maybe a quarterback outside the top 12 that you're thinking, hey, I would consider starting this week.
All right, this one, I kind of did a lot of thinking about this. I'm going to go with the guy who's playing an awful defense, awful team. Give me Gardner Minshew.
Wow, okay.
He's averaging around, I think, 16.5 fantasy points through the first couple of weeks. Not bad. So if you're in a snap and maybe you're playing and you have Justin Herbert, and Herbert ends up not playing, you don't have another quarterback, maybe take a chance, go out there and pick up Gardner Minshew. I mean, you're playing the Panthers. We have seen what the Panthers defense can do. Absolutely nothing. And on top of that, your best defense player in Derek Brown is out.
Yeah, no, I like that. Here's the problem. When I look at projections for these quarterbacks, there's some that just are still not getting respect. So they're technically ranked outside the top 12. And I'm like, I don't know that I would agree with that. But if I go based off that, I think the one I would consider the most is Baker Mayfield. Like he's technically still ranked outside the top 12 somehow. And the thing that he has that is he's going to be playing a bad defense, I think, overall with Denver. And he has so many great weapons. He has 5 touchdowns, 1 pick, and he has 1 rushing touchdown as well. So you always have to count that. So I'm going to take my boy, Baker Mayfield.
Absolutely. I agree. I picked him up this week in one of my leagues and played him because I have Jordan Love as my quarterback.
Good move. Good move. All right. Well, give me a QB1 that you're thinking, I just don't like the matchup this week.
Anthony Richardson. You're playing the Bears.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the most obvious one. I mean, like when I was looking at it, I was like, yeah. The other guys, I was like, well, you can't not start them. It's Anthony Richardson. I mean, the projections for him right now are crazy with what he's done. I mean, last week he really didn't do a whole lot against the Packers, Packers defense isn't great. Yeah. Now we're talking about a Bears defense that, for the most part, slowed C.J. Stroud down until the fourth quarter.
Yeah. So if I'm going to pick one that's technically ranked with some projections, it's Jordan Love. Don't start him. Make sure he plays. I think that's a 12 o'clock game too. So at least then you could still have a chance. I still don't know that I would because I don't know that he makes it all the way through. Now that's a cop out. I understand that. So I'm going to go ahead and give you another one. Dak Prescott. He's playing against Baltimore Ravens. They're going to be desperate to get this win. Their first win of the year. We talked about on yesterday's episode too. With just looking at the weekend, they got to get the win. So don't give me Dak Prescott.
No, I agree.
So, all right. Well, let's move on to running backs. Let's go ahead and we're going to start with don't start them. A top running back that you're like, I'm going to move off this one this week. Who you got?
I don't really know if we count him as a top running back. He's probably more of an RB2, low end RB1. It's Aaron Jones against the Texans.
Okay.
Texans rush defense has been really good. Even if the potential, Justin Jefferson doesn't play, he's going to have, more go, I would guess. But then I think the Texans then would really more sell out against Aaron Jones. The touches last week against the 49ers when you were winning most of that game were surprisingly low. I don't know. I don't feel good about Aaron Jones, especially early on. Yeah, he had a solid week 1, but last week, 9 rushes when you're winning the game most of the time? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get that one. I think the one that when I look at, I'm tempted to say Devon Achane because I don't know what this offense will look like. I know that the defense, you still have to respect Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle's still a good wide receiver too. So you can't just load the box against him. But I think the thing that makes him as good is 12 touches. He breaks 2 away for really big gains, and one of them has to get to the end zone. I worry that
Mhm.
he's going to struggle with that a little bit, but he still is a factor in the passing game. So if it wasn't going to be him, it's Williams from the Rams. I'm
Yeah.
still nervous with the amount of injuries. I mean, he's got to be up next.
Yeah, more than likely. And they're teams are, who are they playing? The 49ers? 49ers going to do everything they can to stop him.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so let's go with how about who's a must start? Hey, I would go ahead and sneak him into the lineup.
Jerome Ford playing against the
Okay.
Giants, a bad Giants run defense. I think Jerome Ford this week projection wise is a lot lower than I would expect. Yeah, they have been kind of somewhat splitting between him and Donta Foreman, but Ford is the go-to guy.
Hmm.
So I think that he could really have a big week this week and give Deshaun Watson some help because Deshaun Watson is terrible. So yeah, I think they're
Yeah,
going to run the ball as much as they can.
uh, very on the borderline of being in the top 24 running backs, but he's just there. Brian Robinson. I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand. Like, I think we know who Austin Eckler is in this offense, or he should be in this offense.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Robinson, loved him for the last couple of years. He has not gotten enough carries. He's one of those guys. Give him the ball a ton. Let him go ahead, get 16 to 22 carries and a couple catches. He should find his way in the end zone. It's against the
Yeah.
Chiefs though, so I know it's a tough defense, but it, hopefully it's a game where you got to keep up with the score. As a
Yeah.
Chiefs fan, hopefully they have to keep up. I do like both those. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, let's move on to wide receivers. Who you got? Don't start. I like the don't start ones first. Let's get this out of the way.
All right. So you mentioned starting Baker Mayfield. I'm not starting Mike Evans. And it's not because I don't think they're going to win. It's because of the matchup, not against the Broncos, but against Patrick Surtain.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Godwin, I think, will get the majority of the catches being in the slot like he has been the last couple of weeks. He's right now the number one fantasy wide receiver, Chris Godwin is. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's probably going to, you know, play again into this week because of Patrick Surtain, who I think is the best corner in the NFL, going up against Mike Evans. I think he's going to cut into Mike Evans quite a bit and uh, probably put him on the shelf because, Mike Evans didn't have a great week last week. I think he has another bad week this week just because of Pat Surtain.
Yeah. I think the easiest one for me to say, and it's not fair because when this releases, the game's already happened. Give me any receiver that's playing on Thursday Night Football. I just don't like it. I think it's bad for fantasy sports. I think it's bad for football product. It's bad for
Yeah,
injuries. I wish the NFL would get rid of Thursday games outside of Thanksgiving. It just is not good. I don't get it.
I agree.
Yeah, guys that I'm thinking, hey, I wouldn't consider starting them yet. This feels weird. I might move towards London in Atlanta. I think that was your guy last week
Yeah.
against Kansas City. I think this is a very good defense. I don't know if they're quite as
Mm-hmm.
good as they were last year, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
still worried about Kirk Cousins and how fluid this guy actually is at being quarterback right now. So I think he's my. I don't know that I'd start
Yeah. And then Darnell Mooney, showed up last week and cut into
him.
London's production quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a receiver that you're saying start?
Yeah, the most explosive offense in the NFL right now. Give me Rashid Shaheed. I think he has to be a must start right now because he is outside of Alvin Kamara. He is the go-to guy on that offense. Surprisingly, saying that with Chris Olave on that
Hmm.
team, Olave on that team, Rashid Shaheed has been absolutely lighting it up this year. And we're talking about an Eagles defense that doesn't look good.
Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna almost go with either Deontay Johnson or Thielen. Probably Adam Thielen from Carolina because I think if Andy Dalton's coming in, he's gonna want to go after a guy. I just feel like,
Yeah.
man, Thielen's that guy he's that Julian Edelman type. I mean, he's gonna be the shorter routes. He's not going deep or anything like that. I think he could have a game where he gets 7 to 8 catches and maybe he
Mm-hmm.
finds the end zone once, but 7 to 8 catches with 80 yards. That's a decent flex start right there. I would
Mm-hmm.
consider that for sure, especially if he can find his way to the end zone. As they switch it over to Andy Dalton from, I just have more confidence in the Panthers
Yeah.
receiver now than I did before.
Yeah. Then I'm going to give you one more running back real quick. Keep an eye on because of injuries, and they have shown they want to run the ball quite a bit. Look at Cam Akers if Joe Mixon isn't able to go. Cam Akers
Yep.
could be starting, and step in and take over what Mixon has done early on.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get to the MLB news because I actually have a meeting that's just about to start. People are arriving, so we might go a little bit quick. But MLB playoffs are just around the corner. Tubby, I know you got a couple questions.
Yeah, I got a couple questions for you real quick. All right. Outside of the teams that are going to win their division, who has a legitimate chance to win the World Series that won't be a division winner?
Oh, I'm going to say the Diamondbacks right now. I think they're my number one choice for this, just based off of the offensive production that they have, and I think they do have some of the pitching. The bullpen's where I get a little dicey. I don't know about
Yeah.
that, but and then if they can sneak in somehow, you know what? Give me a team that's on fire right now. I don't know if they can make it, but they might. Detroit Tigers. You get hot at the right time, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Royals, and it's because of pitching. The starting pitching for the Royals, I think, can give them a lot, and that's what a lot of. The bullpen will be the question, but a lot of teams right now, the starting pitching is a huge question. For the Royals, it's really not. So we'll see what happens there.
That's a good point. I do like that.
Yeah, and then finally, who takes the last two wildcard spots? Right now, the last two in AL and the NL are basically toss-ups. You got the Tigers and was it the Twins are fighting for that spot, and then in the NL you've got the Braves and the Diamondbacks, really fighting for that final spot. Who do you got for the final two wildcard spots?
Yeah, I hope I'm right on this. I hope it's the Tigers over the Twins. The Twins just not playing great baseball. I feel like the last little bit of the year after they had that hot run in the middle, the Tigers have gotten on fire at the right time, and Tariq Skubal deserves to be in the playoffs. I'm telling you, I want to see this guy in Detroit. They had enough rebuilding. Please let them get him. When it comes to the AL, I think right now what's crazy, I picked the Diamondbacks as one of the best teams. They're only a game and a half up, and they're tied with New York in that second and third spot. I do think it should be Arizona, and the Mets should be the ones that make it. And I'm sorry, Atlanta, you got to be on the outside looking in. All of them have been kind of playing the same baseball the last couple of weeks. Not one, none of them are playing like the Tigers. So but who you got? I'm curious.
Those exact teams. I think the Tigers. I think the Tigers are finally looking like the Tigers we expected at the beginning of the season, and they could very well scare some teams with the way they're playing and the way they're pitching. Watch out. And then, like you said, Diamondbacks, I think they offensive wise, they have really taken a step forward. Corbin Carroll has really taken a step forward, and it seems like he's probably healthy now. And if that starting rotation can, get things going, Jordan Montgomery and those guys, this is a team to watch out for.
Team you're most worried about, like not showing up in the playoffs?
The Dodgers. And it's starting pitching. I mean, right now you look at Glass now out for the season. Don't have him. We don't know if we'll have Stone back. Bobby Miller looks absolutely atrocious right now. We don't know if we'll have Kershaw back. Walker Buehler looks terrible. The starting rotation for the Dodgers is just, I mean, Yamamoto's come back, looked great. If we can get Stone back, that'd be awesome. Flaherty has looked really good with the Dodgers. The crazy thing is Shohei Ohtani says, you know what, I'm good to pitch in the playoffs if you need me to.
He wants to play in the playoffs. That's what it is. It's like, hey man, why don't you just hit this year, pitch next year? For me, it's them and it's the Baltimore Orioles. There's something weird missing this year for Baltimore that they had last year. I don't know that they've taken a step back yet. We'll have to see in the playoffs, but that's the team I'm most worried about outside the Royals. I mean, maybe it's because I live in Kansas City. I'm like, bro, they're just trying to miss it. You know what? Come on, Cardinals. 10 games left. They're down. They're back 7. They got this.
You got it. Now everyone else is just gonna stink, and you're gonna run the table. So Shohei, two home runs away from 50-50.
I know, and I don't know that he hit one today, but they were up 14-3 as we're recording this. It's absolutely insane. I don't think he hit one today.
He got his 50th stolen base today. So now
he got 50 home runs.
Did he? He hit 2 today?
He hit both today. Yeah, sorry, I didn't know that he had more than one.
So it happened while we were recording because when we weren't recording, it was 7-3 or something like that, or 7-4.
Yeah, he just got it in as we're recording. Why are we even recording? What are you doing, man? You shouldn't. My bad. Yeah, that's on me. Oh, man. That's why you got to listen, but you got to watch the sports too. Guys, we are so thankful that you guys are supporting the show. If you have not already, again, be sure that you hit the subscribe button. It goes a long way. We want you to be a part of the show. Comment what your thoughts are. If you think that there's a team that we weren't talking about, or a start or sit, put it on the comment section. We'll be sure to respond the best we can, or message us on social media. Tubby's always running that stuff, and he does a great job responding. So do that. And then next week we'll be back again. Make sure you download and follow because our rotation might be a little different while I'm out, but Tubby's got you guys. So till then, see you all next time.
See ya.
See you.